Are there any questions? Yes.
Okay, so, band rider. Is that the politically correct term for band groupies now? What? Okay, the phrase band rider is used by Dr. Med when.
Correction. Subject, the band rider. Band rider query loaded. Connecting via webcam. One moment.
Okay, when we type the phrase band rider in the online search, the first result reads, in theater and musical performance, a rider is a set of requests or demands that a performer sets as criteria for performance. Types of riders include hospitality and technical. When we click the link, further explanation can be found about the two types of riders, along with examples and templates of each. But in this episode, we'll only be reviewing and showing samples of the hospitality or band rider. It should be mentioned, though, that unreasonable requests made by famous bands and artists have their own notable riders request section. And for bands starting out, there are lots of examples here of requests you should not be making. Okay, we now know what a band rider is. Now let's figure out how to make one. So, first thing to think about and write down in a list for your rider are the 8 top requests. From these 8 requests, you'll be able to formulate all the main information needed to create your band A rider and B rider templates. All this means really is A, a rider for smaller club size events, and B, a rider for larger corporate and festival size events. Just know that your 8 top requests will appear in both your A and B band riders. Okay, first on our list is contact person. It's very reasonable to request the name and contact number to the event representative or person on the site in charge of the event. As well, you can request that someone be there throughout the entire event to assist the band with all the event matters. Next is band load-in. Requesting a flexible arrival and load-in time that is amicable to both the venue and the band is a wise idea. Request for a band and crew vehicle parking and/or parking passes closest to the loading area, access to loading dock or entrance nearest to the stage. You could also ask that a couple of workers be on site to assist with the equipment load-in. Next is band sound check. Request for an electrician or experienced person with knowledge of the venue's main power source and/or connecting circuit panel be on hand for equipment setup and sound check. It is also reasonable to request that coffee, tea, water, and juices be made available during the sound check. Next, we have dressing rooms. You can request a secured room, in other words, a room with a lockable door large enough to accommodate all the members of your band. Enough seating for the band members, table or a counter for makeup application, etc., with proper lighting, mirrors, and a rack to hang clothes. Obviously, the dressing room request will vary from venue to venue and based on the size of your band, or maybe you have members of the opposite sex in your band, so you have the need for more than one dressing room. Remember, no two venues are the same, as I said, so the band should be willing to compromise when it comes to dressing room requests. Next, we have pre-show meals. This topic varies the most from band to band, because some musicians are okay with pizza 30 minutes before showtime, but most singers and horn players and alike don't eat dairy products before a show. The standard time to set for hot meals in many band riders is 2 to 3 hours before showtime. We recommend your meal request have as many options for the venue or event planners to choose from as possible. For example, a fixed dollar amount per person, also known as a food per diem, or a food credit at a nearby restaurant, a fixed budget for food delivery. These are all reasonable request alternatives. Next, on-stage needs. Bottled water, hand towels, stair access, and proper lighting for stair access are 4 standard requests. Staging, risers, curtains, and backdrops can be mentioned in your band rider, but should be detailed in your stage plot document. Be sure to check out our video on the band stage plot. Next, we have post-show requests. Requesting coffee, tea, water, and juices be in the dressing rooms after the show is a common request. As well, some venues and events will supply one alcoholic beverage, usually beer, per band member and crew member after the show as a courtesy request. In some cases, like large festival events, bands with merchandise may request a booth or an area near the stage for after-show photo ops and merchandise sales. And finally, band teardown and loadout. The most popular loadout request, and the only one really worth mentioning, is the availability of able staff members to be on hand to assist the band with loadout. Well, there you have it. Our 8 top request categories to get you well on your way to your first band riders for big and small events. Now let's look at a sample of a band rider that you can use.
Let me just take a moment to thank you all for watching, and to you, Mr. Pinkman, for attending. Please feel free to leave your questions and comments below and let us know your thoughts. For now, this is your virtual voice guide, Aisha, reminding you to always take it to the stage.